Hey, what's up, Masters? Welcome to another episode, my friends. Today, we are with Jese Gary, who absolutely crushes it with her idea on these virtual client events. I don't know about you, but I'm super excited. We have an event we're launching in September, and it's going to be a virtual cooking event, and it all comes from me doing this episode with Jesse. I'm super excited about this, and yeah, you know what? You don't have to stop doing your client events because of COVID. It's so cool. You're going to love this. It's short, it's sweet. The audio quality could be a little bit better, but the content is absolutely tremendous. So I hope you really get a ton from this and get an event going right away. And hey, give us a shout out, Jesse. Give Jesse a shout out and say thank you, because I'll tell you, I'm super excited. We're doing a cooking event and just pumped. Anyway, listen, I'm also really excited about my 35 call challenge. Listen, I want to spend a week working with you directly, 7 days, an hour a day. We're going to work together, and then we're going to go out there and make contacts. In 35 call challenge is making 35 good connections over 7 days, which is going to generate at least one piece of business. My friends, for more details, it starts this Thursday, so you better sign up fast because it's going quick. It starts this Thursday. It's only $35. That's right, only $35 to get started. So go to 35callchallenge.com. Again, 35callchallenge.com. Get signed up for that. And hey, listen, you know what? I just want to tell you, you absolutely rock. So I appreciate you listening to my podcast, and I hope you enjoy Jesse, and get out there and get your event started. Doesn't matter what type of business you're in or industry you're in. You can do client events, and it's super awesome. And I hope to see you on 35callchallenge.com. Hey, what's up, Masters? We are here today with Jese Gary from Shreveport, Louisiana. I can't even say Louisiana. There it is. How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. Thank you so very much for having me here, David.
Absolutely. And you are a lifestyle expert, and you bring years. Were you a QVC model before that?
Yeah, I modeled on QVC for about 10 years.
Okay. And you do all kinds of really cool stuff, but I think the thing that really attracted to me to what you were up to was events. Like, you do community events and neighborhood events, and our listeners are mostly real estate agents, and we're all talking about doing these great events, but most of us don't even do them or don't do really great events. So that's something that you and I can talk about today. How does that sound?
That sounds fantastic.
All right, cool. Tell us about, and we were just talking before we started about where you're from. I saw on the other day, they were interviewing a guy on CNN with the guy had like an AK-47 or something. You're saying people just walk around with guns out there? Or?
It's been an interesting dynamic because I was raised in DC. So like, people have guns. Do you see people with guns? 9 times out of 10, you really don't. And so when I actually went to a shooting range with a friend a couple of months ago, I was like, yeah, you're going to shooting ranges with like real guns, not like a hand pistol. So when I saw and heard about the story, I'm like, it makes sense. I understand the premise behind it. But yeah, with all of the guns and things like that, it's very open. I've gone to stores and I've seen someone have a pistol strapped onto them, and it's a way of life. It's a lot different than what I'm used to.
I'm in Massachusetts, so the laws are a lot different here. You very rarely see anybody. I think you can have a weapon, but it has to be concealed, right? Like, in Texas, everybody has them. Yeah. But you don't see them in Mass. Not everybody has them, but some people do. Yeah. These guys were there with literally like assault rifles out and open, just hanging out.
Yeah. Because people explained it to me before, because even my grandmother was raised here. And so growing up as a child, you knew that there were guns everywhere. You just didn't touch them. It's just been a whole different dynamic compared to the Northeast area where we know people have guns, but it's probably locked up somewhere and it's hidden and you don't show it. And so it's a different dynamic compared to the South, for sure. It definitely is.
No doubt. Well, these are certainly different times. That's for sure. So what are you doing? So we'll switch gears now. With regards to the events and stuff like that, how's COVID affected that industry?
It has really made a huge dent in like what we were already planning. And also just because COVID is ongoing for some of the managers and people that were trying to start planning things because we were hoping that, okay, we're in phase 2 or we're in phase 1 and we're in phase 3. It's going to be amazing. Let's start planning stuff. And then it quickly came to an abrupt stop, after a week or two, because with managers, you just want to be responsible because of the liability insurances that are involved. So we've had to take a lot of things virtually or on the go. But because it still is important, we weren't just doing events just to do them. As far as even realtors, it's not to just do them. It's because you're either looking to leave an impression on your future buyers or someone that does buy. So that doesn't leave. It's even more important in this kind of market for referrals because we aren't able to do that face-to-face engagement anymore. So you want to be able to allow whatever you're doing to actually help bring you new clients or make the ones that you do have feel even more important. So that hasn't shifted. We've had to actually figure out ways to still solve that problem with a different method.
Yeah, I like that you said make the clients feel even more important. I think that is one of the areas where, we can combat sites like Zillow and Redfin and all these other, you go on TV now, you see all these companies will list your house for 2%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how do we as realtors combat that? The way is make them feel important, make them feel special, do these events, do things they're being invited to. So that when the time comes to think about a realtor, they're not going to think, well, I can save $2,000 over here. They're going to think, okay, Jesse's the person, right? I'm going to call her.
Yeah, it's very true. Because the thing is even within property management or within realtors, like there's an abundance of pretty much, I guess you can say, inventory. And so I typically work with apartments, but even with condos, because in the DC market, a good amount of the luxury industry came from people building all of these condo units that just were not selling. When I remember when they first were being built, you'll drive at nighttime and half of the building was like dark because no one was actually in those buildings. So that's actually what helped with fueling the condo sales within those markets. But everyone's trying to get new business. Everyone's trying to either keep people. So giving coupons and giving those things aren't really enough because we can get those in abundance, especially right now. So like realtors remembering, like, because people are still going to want to move and people are still going to want to buy or sell, like, what are you going to do for people to remember you or create moments so that people share? I mean, because everything we put on social media now, it's going to, like, people watch stories. So creating those moments where someone wants to share in a good way and experience is going to give you leads for someone that they may not have even thought to share with, or someone wouldn't even thought to ask them.
So talk to us, give us an example of one of your events now, post COVID that's worked for you. What are you guys doing?
One of the ones that's been really popular is the cooking classes. Because people, and this is something that can even be applied with realtor. I will give something from a realtor standpoint, but what we've been doing are the cooking classes, because before this, most people were going out and eating all the time. And now people are, even though some individuals are starting to go out, but still we're forced to cook most of our meals now. And so the art of being in your kitchen wasn't really explored a time previous March 19th or 15th, depending on where you are. So we've been having fun with doing that, where the residents have been able to actually cook with the chef.
That's awesome.
And like getting the final dish, like, and they're like, okay, we're cooking with, it's usually like couples, you do have some singles, but imagine like cooking dinner with your spouse and no one can really say they're right or wrong because you both don't know what to do. You're following along with the chef. So that's been fun.
I'm going to listen. That's our next event. Like, this is my aha for the week. I'm not kidding. Like, my wife and I, that's going to be our next event. We're going to set it up, do it as a thing. And right, what is that what you do? You turn on the camera and you're in the kitchen and other people's log into like a Zoom or something? What does that look like?
Yeah.
Masters, I want to get you right back to Jesse. Couple opportunities for you. Number one is the 35 call challenge. Talked to you a little bit about it earlier, my friend. Starting this Thursday, the 20th, 1 p.m. Eastern, we're going to jump on. We're going to do an hour a day deep dive, my friends, into immersion, into calling, into connecting with people, into using the phone, into making connections to people you don't know, into mindset, into everything. I'm going all in, my friends. 35. That's it. $35. 30. What? I don't. How can I even do that? You're thinking. Listen, I'm doing it for you. So get registered right now. 35callchallenge.com. That's the site. Go to the site. Check it out. You'll get more details. 35callchallenge.com. Get registered. Stop the episode now, as a matter of fact, and go to your phone and go 35callchallenge.com and get yourself registered so you can be on there this Thursday with us. And here's what I'll tell you. Listen, if you say to me, you know what, Dave, that was not worth my money and time, I will refund your money. Okay, that's how confident I am in this. All right, so anyway, it starts this Thursday. Get registered, 35callchallenge.com. Don't forget, get yourself a free book at davidsfreebook.com. And I would check out last week's episode as well with Benjamin Hardy. Was absolutely fantastic. His book is called Personality Isn't Permanent, and you can get his book on Audible if you go to davidsfreebook.com and get a copy of the book on audio, which is tremendous. And finally, don't forget about our friends at Vulcan 7, my friends, for all your dialing, phone numbers, physicals, expireds, whatever you need. You want a good CRM dialer, it's all there. Go to vulcan7.com/path to mastery for a special opportunity. My friends, I just want to say again, I appreciate you, and I hope to see you Thursday. Last time, 35callchallenge.com. You rock. Enjoy the rest of the show.
The instructor, and then we'll have one over the stove or whatever they're going to do. And the cool thing about Zoom is that you can do the camera and pinning the video so it looks like it's panning and doing stuff when it's just stationary cameras, but you want people to see what you're actually doing. So yeah, we have someone that's, oh, hey, someone's asking if you don't have this, you have this ingredient, what can we use? Or this person saying that they're lactose intolerant, like what other option can they use? And those things that we think are common sense is not the same. Everyone has different experiences.
That's awesome. And so are you guys ahead of time kind of planning the dish out and telling everybody what to prep, get prep? Yeah. So I want to do this. I'm your first client now from this episode. Seriously.
Well,
my wife and I want to do that. Yeah.
I have a class coming up this Sunday, so I'll send you info for that. It's going to be awesome.
This Sunday's probably too short, but in order to round a bunch of people up. But yeah, let's try to plan something in August. I think would be great if you're open to it.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, we can. And even from a realtor standpoint, think about if you have someone going into a brand new house in their kitchen, and you can have a relationship with a local chef, because right now restaurants, they are, being hit hard. So they do have extra produce. They have extra food inventories. So having a relationship and supporting a local restaurant that has a top-notch chef and not doing it at a time that's not a peak time for them, and they can do boxes or prep boxes of what's needed, drop it off at their house, and then they can do either, if they feel comfortable to have the chef in the space, you can do that, or just have it on a Zoom. And it can even be something specifically for people that have bought homes from you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
In July.
Yeah, or just even if they didn't buy homes from us, just anybody, right, can jump in. I mean,
exactly.
They can get their own stuff if they have to, or we could get stuff for them. I mean, so there's a lot of options here.
Yeah.
I mean, as realtors too, we also have partners like affiliates, like mortgages and lenders that will contribute to the cost. Yeah, this is really awesome. This is cool.
And those are great moments, because think about it, like someone that's a potential or someone you just sold to, and we come and design, maybe it can be a mixology class where we can have kits with the actual cocktails sent, or, I wouldn't do necessarily a paint and sip, but things that are like food and beverage involved that create something where they can actually participate. I think that that's a really nice added value. And talk. It actually will do all of the talking for you. And it's fun. Like, who doesn't like to make cocktails and,
all the stuff. Yeah, anything, the trivia, all of it. It's like that's what's going to help you remember your realtor when you're ready to sell the house, right? Like, okay, I'm going to remember the fun cooking night I had, or the trivia or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So what so give me roughly, what is something like this? What's the cost? Is it
Depending on if you're going without the food involved, typically it can run anywhere between $300 to $500, depending on what it is and who I have to contact. Because I have some chefs that are like, oh, okay, I can do this, and they still are, really awesome chefs compared to the name. So that's something to go into. Is like, okay, am I trying to create a name? Or will my actual buyers or prospects even care about the name? Are they more or less wanting an experience? Like, keeping that in mind, because some people are like, oh, okay, a chef. What is that? They're fine with it being the chef.
So like if we took like right here, one of our local restaurants, like the sole proprietor, really everybody knows that's one of the nicest restaurants. If you got like one of the chefs you would track down one of the chefs from that restaurant would be our cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've actually been able to find some amazing chefs just in general, because most of them are just in limbo, and depending on the area that they're in. And the key thing that really works in our favor right now is because they're not actually having to fly somewhere or drive anywhere. They're just in their kitchen already. And so that's really worked in our favor for some of the classes that we're doing, because when it would normally cost someone like $1,000 just for them to just come and talk to someone for an hour, they're like, okay, I'll do it for 300, and it's a lot better. That's awesome.
I love that. Yeah. Well, I think we need to figure out how to get this set up. So I'm going to reconnect with you. Okay. What would you say? Well, first off, how do people get in touch with you for other people listening that want to also take advantage of this?
Sure. Our website is Luxegiving LLC. So LuxeGiving LLC.com. And it's the same handle on Instagram as well as on Facebook. And it's really easy to reach me.
Awesome. And what would you say have you seen are the biggest mistakes that people are making when it comes to these types of events? Like,
the biggest mistakes I find, one is like doing the streaming on Instagram and Facebook, because you don't even know if the people you're really wanting to connect with are even the ones watching it. So I've seen that be one of the biggest mistakes that people have done. Also, I feel as if the advertising of it also plays a big part of it, because regardless if you're doing it virtually or not, you want to make sure that it feels that there was some thought put into it. Because even when you're doing an open house pre-COVID, simple things from taking it off the plastic platter and putting it on a nice like ceramic platter shows a difference of care, and I've seen it where even for some of the most expensive communities I've worked with that have, someone's paying $5,000 a month to live in this building, and it's still in, the vegetable platter tray. It's like that doesn't so keeping presentation is really presentation is key, because I think sometimes when we think cost is the thing, when reality is how you present it, because you can have something that looks amazing and present it well that doesn't have to necessarily cost you a ton. Those little simple touches make a huge difference.
Cool. This is cool. I'll tell you, this has been one of my favorite podcast episodes, and I have a lot of really famous people on, and this is awesome. So thank you. Now you're really famous too. So you probably were already famous. I just didn't know who you were yet. That's all. So, all right. Awesome. Well, so the podcast is called Path to Mastery. What does that mean to you? What would you say to our listeners when you think about Path to Mastery?
I think honestly, just being really focused on what your core values are. And so even with COVID shifting what we did face to face, what we were really passionate about has not changed. So what I spend a lot of my time on doing now is like, how do I still accomplish what I'm looking to accomplish? And how do I support my customer? Because I'm not a B2C person. My whole thing is to make sure that when you have your prospects on this cooking class or whatever we decide to do, that they're like, oh my goodness, this is so fantastic. I have to send everybody to David. This is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, and my little one just came running in, so she's want to say hi? All right, you fighting with your sister still, or what? All right, well, hey, listen, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time today. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Again, people can reach out to you at Luxe, Luxe, Giving LLC.com, correct?
That's correct.
All right, and you and I will be definitely. We'll just hang on a minute. Let me just stop the recording.
Okay.
Hey, Masters, 45 seconds. That's all I ask. I appreciate you listening to the show. I don't know if I say that enough, but I know you can invest your time wherever you choose. So thank you for spending it here with us. Remember, if you want any information on me or my events coming up, just go to my website, which is davidihill.com. Again, davidihill.com. Click on the events tab. You've got webinars, you've got past webinar replays. Everything is there. You can also get access to our sponsors there if you click on the affiliates link. So again, everything is at davidihill.com. And we'd love to have you join us on our Facebook community, which just go to Facebook and search groups, which is Path to Mastery. And finally, as you know, you can get yourself a free book by going to davidsfreebook.com. My friends, again, I just want to say I appreciate you spending time with us. Oh my gosh, I forgot to review. If you would, it helps so much if you'd be willing to go give me a review, and then email a review to me at david@davidihill.com. Email it to me. I'll read it on air for you. And I just want to say I appreciate you again for listening to the show. You rock. Enjoy the rest of your day.